Nice to
Hi,
meet you.
Boyd. Nice to meet you. Thanks for talking to me today.
Of
Uh,
course.
let's talk about The Cursed. I really enjoyed this movie. This was a pretty serious werewolf movie that I haven't seen, I feel like, in a really long time. They're a little bit more campy now, they're a little more teen driven. So, when this
Mm.
project fell into your lap, what were your first thoughts?
Well, I had to convince Sean that playing a Brit was possible. Usually, it's unheard of for an American to do that, but
Sure.
obviously, all the Brits get to come over here and take the American jobs, I guess. So I was really interested in doing that. Really, just working with Sean. Um, I've been super big fan of his work and how incredible it is to once you start working and understanding that, wow, if a person takes on the writing, the cinematography, and the directing of the film and producing it, um, he's a really hands-on type of filmmaker. So that was the thing for me, because I've always been a big fan of horror films. I love, me and my wife were always kind of scouring the internet for something to scare us, because this was all about is just getting that feeling. And
Absolutely.
yeah, so it was that, and it was just a really well put together script.
Did he, when reading about the movie, he shared that, he wanted to kind of pay homage to the original Werewolf Man and put a deeper meaning into it. So his meaning is addiction, whether it's like your phone or drugs, alcohol, whatever it is. Did he share that with you before filming? Is that something that you had to put into what you were preparing?
Yeah, I think everyone needs something that's like, hang, attaching themselves to something and why they're after and what is the motivation for them. Um, and for me, I just recently became a dad, so story kind of resonated with me much more than it probably would have if I had read it before having my son. Um, and so life imitates art in a sort of way. And I've just always been really nostalgic about, I guess, anything before 1895, before just electricity in homes and plumbing and all the luxuries that we have now, which goes a little bit to your point about people being addicted to things. And that time, there's nothing to really be addicted to, maybe other than, I don't know, alcohol or something wild like opium or something. But you'd have to go out of your way to do something like that.
Right.
Um, and so, in a way, life is much more simpler and much more. Nowadays we have so much time on our hands. We can ask ourselves, well, what does my life mean? Back then you didn't have any space in your consciousness. You were just working all the time to survive. So there was no this existential crisis of who am I? It was just like you are who you are. Okay, that's it.
Yeah. Like, absolutely. You're like, I'm a witch hunter. I am a Christian preacher. I am a wife who just has children. Like that's
Yeah. Or
yeah.
like you had seven kids, so three of them lived. It was just like a brutal time,
Mhm.
and don't know. Not that we have to, but just a little bit of homage to history that's come before us to pave the way for such luxuries in life that we have now.
Absolutely. You mentioned the time period because I love that this was set in I don't want to call it ancient, but like a couple
Mhm.
hundred years ago time where, as you said, we don't have electricity or power. And it's just kind of word of mouth. Like your character comes in saying he's one thing when he's really like a werewolf hunter who knew about this curse.
Mhm.
Was that based on anything, or were you doing a bunch of research to kind of get in the character, get in the walk and in the talk, as you said you had to put on the accent?
Mhm. Um, well, it was based upon a folklore that's documented, as history. The Beast of Gévaudan, that's where Sean drew upon. I think that he lives in that region of southern France. And then what it really means to be a pathologist. Anesthesia hadn't been um, invented yet.
They're just getting
Uh,
everybody drunk.
yeah, yeah, have a couple of these. So a lot of looking at old medical manuals and of how to do surgery, and that's the great thing about being an actor. You become this small, you know, uh, master of one subject in a quick amount of time, and then you just kind of vomit it onto
I can hope it works. All this preparation, all this work you've done. Well, I think you were absolutely great in this. I'm a huge fan of yours, from Narcos to Predator to Logan, and you're going to be in the new Sandman for Netflix, which I'm sure you can't talk about, which we're all very excited to see. You mentioned, for my last question, that you love horror movies. You watch it with your wife. Do you have a favorite werewolf horror movie?
Favorite werewolf? You know what? To be honest with you, Teen Wolf.
Really?
I know it's not a scary movie.
Doesn't have to be.
But Teen Wolf, I mean, I don't know, maybe like 8 or 10 when it came out. That was just like crazy fun. Yeah, just a good time in my life as a kid, with like all those movies of like Jason and Freddy Krueger and Halloween and Exorcist and all those films that were just like, those kept you up at night. And super big fan of that.
Teen Wolf was like a breath of fresh air amongst all the horror icons for you.
Yeah, it was like Michael J. Fox
surfing on top of vans and everything.
Yeah, you just wanted to? I'm going to get on top of the car, Dad. He's like, no, you're not.
That's amazing. Well, awesome. Thank you so much for talking with me, and I hope everyone goes and checks out The Cursed, because it's great.